Hello and welcome. We are today at session number 8. We're going to talk about lists. In the previous sessions, we have discussed about data types like strings and numbers. Today we'll be discussing about lists and a bit about dictionaries. Before proceeding, I would like to know if you have got any questions for me so far.
No.
Were you able to, did you get time to look at the video recording?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. All right, so no questions so far?
No.
And did you try to solve the problem?
Yes. The the paycheck one.
Uh, all right, so let me see if I can make you a presenter. Okay, all right. So what I will do is I will make you a presenter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can
Okay.
probably see your screen and you can show me the solution which you have done.
Okay.
All right, just a minute. Uh, okay, so I have made you a presenter.
Oh.
Oh, that's great. All right. Mm-hmm. So you have opened this in a notepad.
Mm.
All right. So are you not using an IDE?
ID.
Idle, I showed you last time. It was
Um.
this. If you go to start and search for IDLE.
Oh. Yeah. I. I used it for starting idea. I just don't know how to open it after I save it.
Okay, so right now what you have done is you have written the program, saved it in a note in a file, and how did you
Mm.
execute it?
How
Okay,
how did I?
you executed on the interpreter shell itself. All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and you copy pasted in fact from the file.
Mm.
You have copied your program and pasted into this interactive shell, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Okay, but what I want is that you use idle. Go to the start,
Mm.
the Windows start, and search for the program idle.
Mm. I don't.
All right, yeah, right, this one. So just create a new file, go to file,
Oh,
on the
go
same
to
file,
the.
on the same window. Uh,
Mm,
okay, this is what this is in Notepad, right? Yeah, and create a new file,
mm,
or if you already have a
green.
file, open it.
Mm,
Okay, go to the path where you have saved this file.
mm, oh,
Okay, but this file has some other information. All right. Just
Oh,
copy the
okay.
functionality and the function call.
Okay. Mm,
Yeah, right. So just copy this and paste that one here into the new file. Create a new file with some other name. Go to
oh,
file
okay.
and create a new file.
Mm,
All right. Go to new file. Yeah.
mm,
Create a new file. Yeah, paste it down here. Paste your
mm,
code here. All right. So this becomes your function definition. Now just put a function call also below this and save this file.
mm. Run?
Don't run
Mm.
because this is just definition, right? So you need to call the
Oh,
function
yeah.
also. Put
Okay.
in the yeah, go indent the code properly.
Mm. How to run this file?
Yeah, I will tell you.
No, how to,
So
how to,
just
uh,
yeah, just so the below whatever you have called, right? Compute pay and in brackets
mm,
45 comma 10. So just type in below.
oh, just type here.
Yeah, type here exactly. Give a space. Give a white line
Mm,
always.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes. Now call compute pay brackets 45 comma 10. All right. And correct the indentation of def. Make it
Mm,
left line. There's a space there. All right. Now it sounds good. Seems good. Yeah,
mm,
that was correct. All right.
mm,
Now save this file with a name.
mm,
You can save it. Yeah, probably anywhere,
mm,
maybe in your desktop or
okay.
which.
Mm, mm,
Give it a name, say pay computation or something.
mm,
Compute pay. All right. Yeah, save it. All right, now go to run
oh,
on this window and run as module.
mm,
All right, so now there is a problem. Do you get what is the
mm.
problem?
Oh, no print.
Exactly. So there is no error as such, but there is no print.
Mm,
So we are not able to see the output.
mm,
So go to the file, yeah. So just print the return value. Exactly. Correct. Save it and run again.
mm.
Close this window, save the file and run again.
Um, okay.
All right, you get it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is how we need to do. And
Oh,
let me just have a look at your program now.
mm,
All right, so if the hours is less than 40, pay would be hours into rate.
mm.
Otherwise, it is hours minus 40 and rate. That's perfectly correct. Good.
Thank you.
Nice job. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
So see, now you have very well written a function and used
Mm,
the functionality of it. All right.
mm. Okay.
I'm going to
Mm,
change again. I'm going
mm.
to make myself as presenter now. All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So that was good. And I'm going to do one more thing. Okay.
Mm.
I'm going to
Okay.
share you some more questions. Okay.
Mm.
That would
Okay.
be some questions and quizzes would be shared in the learning management system for which you have already
Okay.
access.
Okay. I haven't tried yet.
No. So you're able to access login to the knowbigdata.com.
Oh, oh, okay.
So you would find this stuff over there probably. If you're not able to find, just drop an email to Know Big Data saying I need access to
Okay.
LMS. All right.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Okay. So all the stuff is shared over there. All right.
Mm, mm.
Okay, great. I'm going to mute you now and we'll
Okay.
start with today's session.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's begin. So today we are going to discuss about lists, as we said. So what is a list? As a string, list is also a collection. String is a collection of characters. List is a collection of multiple values, and those values can be of same data type or different data type. For example, we can have a list of strings, we can have a list of numbers, we can also have list of lists, right? And we can also have list of mixed kind of items. That is, we can have list of numbers, strings, lists, tuple, dictionaries together. All right, so list is again a type of collection. So collection is nice because we can carry all many values around in one convenient package. So it is just it gives us a convenient way to put all things together as a package, right? Like in the example shown below in the slide, friends is a collection of three strings. These are nothing but names of three friends. All right, and list is represented or defined using square brackets. So whatever you put inside these square brackets becomes a list. All right, but this is not to be confused with square brackets that we used to get an index like in a string. All right, so square brackets which are followed by any variable or any string are not to be treated as a list. So this is not a list, whereas this directly as a whole is a list. We'll see when we proceed further how this is differentiated. All right. So as we do in all our sessions, so if you have any questions, you can put down in the question window. All right. So again, we have the similar kind of list below, which is um, again a list of some items. We have socks, shirt, perfume. Nothing but both are list of strings. Both of these lists are list of strings. All right. What is not a collection? So most of our variables have one value in them. Variables are not a collection, in fact. So you define x is equals to 2. X is referencing to an object which has the value 2 right now. And when you do reassignment, now x, which was referencing to 2, now references to 4. All right. So numbers numbers are not collection. All right. Okay, so what in fact is the difference between string and a list? As we said, string is also a collection and lists are also collection. Then the difference is we need to be aware of, so that at times when we are required to write a program, which data type should we use? Should we use a string? Should we use a list? So we need to be aware of the differences when deciding a data type. Alright, so let's see. I will just say two important differences between list and strings. Alright, so the first one would be lists are mutable. Alright, mutable, what do you understand by mutable? Mutable is that can be changed, whereas strings are immutable, cannot change. Alright, the second one, this list can be a collection of mixed types, whereas strings will be collection of characters always. Alright, so far with me? Yeah. Alright, so these are two important differences which you should keep in mind when you're deciding for a data type. Yes, we do have two collections, but when you want to change a collection, you should use a list. Alright, and also when you have a requirement of collection of mixed items, go for a list. For just a collection of characters, yes, it is a string always. Okay, what are list constants? List constants are surrounded by square brackets and the elements in the list are separated by commas. For example, what you see over here is a list constant. Correct? Anything which you write inside the square brackets and separated by commas. What do you mean by this? That means the items in the list are separated by commas. You need to put commas if you want to have multiple items. That means I have a list of 3 items. I need to put all these 3 items inside the square brackets and separated by commas. Okay, so let's see over here what all lists we have. So this is a list of 3 numbers. This is a list of 3 strings. And this is a list of numbers and strings. Alright, I will write it over here. So this is a list of numbers and strings. Alright, what is this? You see the color coding used over here. So we have this color, another list matching with this one. So what does it mean? That means we have a list inside a list. As we said, we can have a list of mixed data types. So we can also embed a list inside a list. we'll also see how can we access elements, such elements which are part of list inside a list. All right. So 5 comma 6 here in this case again is a list, and this overall is a list. Okay. We'll discuss about this more on this. Okay. What is the last one? We don't see any element over here. So this is an example of an empty list. And you would use this many times when you want to build a list from scratch. Say you want to build a list of friends. Whenever you find a friend, say in a file or user input, all right, so you want to build a list from scratch, go for an empty list, try to fill in your items. All right. In fact, in our previous slides, previous sessions, we have already used lists. And if you remember, while looping using for, we have used a collection of numbers. This collection was nothing but a list of numbers. All right. Okay. Okay. Here is an example of a loop which uses a list of strings, list of friends. So I have defined a list of 3 friends, assigned it to friends variable, and I'm looping over each friend. Friend becomes my iteration variable. All right. And I'm trying to see what all friends do I have in this list. So, and I'm trying to wish all of them a happy new year. All right. So for friend in friends, so friend again takes item from this list one by one. All right. And we wish them happy new year. All right. Simple enough. So let's proceed. I think we have discussed this before also. If you feel anything needs to be discussed more, just put down in the questions window. All right, let's look inside the lists and figure out how do they work. So just like strings, we can get at any single element in a list using an index specified in square brackets. As I said, these square brackets are not to be confused with a list, all right, because it is followed by a variable, all right. So it is for sure not a list. This is an index, all right. So since lists also allow us to pick out one element from the list like strings. So what did we do in the string to pick up a character? Indexing, isn't it? So what did we do? For example, I have a string called name, and I use the same name over here. So if I say I have the name Joseph and I want to access particular character in this string, so what do I do? I would say name of the index which I want to get the character. So index number say 3, and this gives me the character E, isn't it? Similar is the case with lists. All right. So we can access the elements using indexing in lists also. So in this list, for example, we're trying to access the element number 1. Element number 1 is nothing but element at index number 1, not the first element. The first element has got index number 0. So it gives us Glenn. Alright, let's proceed. As we discussed that lists are mutable. When we say lists are mutable, they can be changed. Okay, so strings are immutable. We cannot change the contents of a string. We must make a new string to make any change. That's the important difference between lists and strings. So lists are mutable. We can change an element of a list using the index operator. And we'll see how exactly we are changing it. So let's see the examples over here. So we have got a variable called fruit, and we have assigned the string banana. So what are we trying to do now? We're trying to reassign or update the item number or the character at index number 0 to B, which is not valid because fruit is a string and modifying a string is not allowed because strings are immutable. Alright, let's see here. Now we are trying to make, see what in fact we try to do is, our requirement was that we need to make this capital B as a small b. Am I right? Okay, so but modifying this in this way is not allowed. Okay, in fact what we are trying to do here now in this example, that is fruit dot lower, we're trying to use a method and a string method which will make the uppercase character to lowercase in the string. But remember, this will not modify the original string. Not modify original string. Alright? It returns a new string. This method lower returns a new string which we have stored in the variable x. Now if we try to print x, we get banana, b being in lowercase. Okay, alright, let me just show you here because I don't think it is shown up here. And alright, so what I will try to show you is that in fact it is the original string is not modified and we always get a new string. Okay, I'll try to do the same. I'll make a fruit variable, give it a value banana, b being capital. Alright, then I try to do the same thing. The first example, I try to modify in this way and boom, this is the error. Alright, so string object does not support item assignment. Alright, okay, now I will try to do the same task using the lower method, and let me do this. Fruit of x is equals to fruit dot lower. Okay, now I try to print x. Hooray, my b is now in small letter. Okay, so my task is accomplished. But as I said, the original string is not modified. It always remains the same. Rather, we get a new string. So let's try to see if this is correct. So let's try to print fruit. Yeah. So my fruit variable still has capital B, banana. All right. So this proves that our string is immutable. The original string is not changed, and we get a new string by using different methods of string objects. All right, now let's try to do the same thing with lists. Okay, let me take the same example. I have got a, a list with numbers to 14, 26, 41, 63. All right, I try to print the same. Okay, that's great. Now, as we did for changing a character in the string, we'll try to change a particular element in this list. So let's change the item at index number 2 to 28. On what is the item at index number 2? It is 0, 1 and 2. It is 26, isn't it? So now let's try to change this. Oh yeah, I don't get any error. Let me try to print. Okay, here we see that now 26 is changed to 28. Alright, this proves that lists are mutable and can be changed. Alright, any doubts so far? Okay, how long is a list? Again, we use this function called len, which gave us the length of the string. It works for the lists also. Alright, so we can use this particular len function on lists. So let's try to figure out what is the length of Lotto list, which is Lotto. And yes, we have 5 elements in this list, and we get the number 5 as the output. Okay, we can also give like this. If we don't have a variable holding a list, we can directly give a list inside this len. Okay, so using this len function, we can figure out how many elements does the list hold. Okay, just to okay, let me unmute you at this point, and let me ask you, I don't remember if we discussed about range function before, Yavang?
Maybe not.
No, right? Yeah, even I think so that we have not discussed about this. All right. So let us discuss about this range function, which will be very useful for using for loops. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So range function returns a list of numbers that range from not only 0. So there's a mistake over here. Okay, it is just a specific scenario of this. So this particular part over here is not valid. I need to update this. Okay, so it really does not only gives us list of numbers that range from 0 to 1 less than the parameter. That means, in fact, the range function has this syntax like range of start, end, and step. Alright, and we'll discuss what these three parameters are about. Okay, so as we said, that range function returns a list of numbers that range from, not this, that range from the start and end. The end is in fact not included, so it is one less than the end. All right. Okay, so let us see in detail how does it work. Okay. Okay, all right. So you need to remember that range function takes three parameters: start, the end, and the step. Start is nothing but the start index or the starting number which you want. All right. So let's say you want to start from 0, and end index is where you want to stop the creation of the list. So you want to stop, say, 10. And the step, so remember, the start and step are optional. These are optional parameters. The end is a mandatory one. That is, the end has to be given always. Without end, the Python function range would not be able to give you a list because it does not have an end. Okay, so let's see three scenarios where you can use three different scenarios where we get three different sort of outputs. So the first one is where you give the start, where you give the end. All right, we are discussing about the first scenario in the range function. We give the start, we give the end, all right, and this returns us a list of numbers starting from 0 and going till 9. That is one less than the end number given. And number is 10, so this list goes till only 9. All right, now let's see the second usage. The second usage is range of just 10. Okay, what happens in this case is, as I said, that the start index is, the start parameter is optional. In this case, this is the end number, end index. When you don't give the start index, start number, it by default takes from 0. And again, as usual, the end index is 10, so it goes till 10 minus 1. So we will get a list of numbers from 0 to 9. Alright, let's see the third variation. Third variation is range of 0, or let's take 1 here, 1 to 10, and step by 2. So what is the start? Start is 1. The end is 10, and the step is 2. That means till now we have been stepping over in the numbers by 1. Now we will be stepping, that is the difference between two numbers will be 2 now. So this gives us a list of numbers starting from 1. Alright, starting from 1, stepping by 2, that is 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11. Now 11 goes out of the scope because our end indexing is 10, and we can go only till 9. Alright, so our list will stop over here. So you see, using these three different variations of the range function, you can very well form different sorts of looping collections. And as I said, this is very useful function for looping over using for loop construct. All right. As you can see here that range function can also take an expression. Not only range, in fact any function can take an expression which evaluates to the expected parameter. This particular expression evaluates to a number, and which is an expected parameter to range function, and hence it works. Len of friends gives so this expression evaluates to length of this list, which is 3, and hence we get the list of numbers starting from 0 going till 3 minus 1 2. Okay, so all right, any questions so far?
Mm. No, not yet.
Okay, so this range function is clear.
Yes.
Okay, because this is important, you will be using this in for loops very frequently. All right.
Mm. Okay.
Okay, so let me see what we have now. Next is, okay, we have put in two different for loops over here. Okay, so friends is the list of friends, list of strings. All right, now we're trying to uh, loop over in these friends, and in the first loop we have just use the iteration variable and the collection. This is direct collection of friends, that is strings, and yes, this is also valid and gives the same output as this. There's no difference as such. It is just a difference in the uh, usage in the for loop. So the first one uses the iteration variable and the collection of strings, whereas in the second looping we're trying to use the range function. Though it is tedious, in this case this should be avoided. It's not a good idea to do this because it could be done very well using this kind of loop. But just to understand that how can you also use range function in such scenario is this, that you say range of len of friends. You know, you don't want to miss any friend in this collection. You want to loop over all the friends, and hence you make sure that you do len of friends. Len of friends gives you 3, and range of 3 generates um, a list of 0 1 and 2, and you say for I in range of len of friends, this, as I said, is an expression which evaluates to this collection, and I takes the value 0 first. So friends of 0 is reassigned to friend, and it's printed, that is friends of 0 would be Joseph. Then again it goes over in the next iteration, takes 1. So friends of 1 is Glenn, and friends of 2 would be Sally. All right. Okay, let's move forward. Concatenating lists using the plus operator. How did we concatenate two strings? we used the plus operator to concatenate two strings, isn't it? So we can also concatenate lists by using this plus operator, and what it does is creates a new list by adding two existing lists together. Alright, and let's see the example. We got two lists, A and B, and these are lists of numbers, and we try to concatenate these two lists and assign it to C, A plus B. And when we print C, we get a combined one list, that is the new list. C is a new list formed using concatenating numbers from A and B. So this tells us that we can use concatenation operator for lists also. Okay, now, okay, I have an interesting question over here for you. Okay, and can you tell me if I try to do C is equals to A, can you tell me the output if I try to say print of A and if I try to say print of C?
I think they are both a list of 1, 2, 3.
So 1 to 3 you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now if I say A of 1 is 15,
Mm.
okay, and now I try to do these two prints, what is the output?
Mm. Uh, A is 1, 15, 3.
A is 1, 15, and 3, alright.
Mm. C is also 1, 15, 3.
C is also 1, 15, and 3. But why do you think so?
Mm.
I did not modify C, isn't it?
Oh. Okay. Are the codes written sequentially? Like after A1 equals to 15, do we write C equal to A again and then print A and C? Or
So I have not done C this step now.
okay, then
Okay.
C is still 1, 2,
So
3.
what I'm saying is, okay, this,
Mm,
okay, let me just make it more clearer. So this is my
mm,
first step, okay,
okay.
and
Mm,
as per the first thing you're saying, the output would be 1, 2, and 3 both, all right.
mm, mm.
Now I try to do this. A of 1 is
Oh,
15, and now I
mm,
directly say print of A and print of
oh,
C.
okay. So I think A is 1, 15, 3, and C is 1, 2, 3.
C is 1, 2, and 3. Okay,
Mm,
so this is correct, right?
mm.
Okay, now let me try to show you that this is wrong.
Oh,
Okay, and we'll see how it is.
okay.
It's a bit of trick.
Mm,
Okay,
mm, mm.
let me define A is, okay, let me just clear this up, and you're able to see my screen, right? That is the shell.
Yes, yes.
I define A is 1, 2, and 3, right? And I define, and I do C is A,
Mm,
all right? And I try to print A, which is 1, 2, 3, correct? I try to print C, which is also 1 to 3. So first output is very well correct. Let's try to do the second step, which is I now am modifying A of 1 to 15. Now I try to print A, which is 1, 15, and 3. And I try to print C. So do you see a difference?
Yeah, they are both 153.
Yeah, right. So C also, C also, it's a magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
C also becomes 115 and 3.
Mm.
And this is all because of references. All right. So what happens is, let me try to explain you. Okay. So what happens is A is, as I said, that everything in Python is an object. All right. So everything in Python is an object. So we get an object created, which is one. I'm sorry. So which is one, and let me remove this also. So 1, 2, and 3. I have this list. All right. So A was referencing to this list. All right. And then what we did using this assignment was that we created another variable, but we did not create a new object. Okay. So C also, in this case, references to the same object. All right. Now, when you try to print A and C, so we are discussing line by line. All right. So when you try to print A and then C, we get the same output because both are referencing to the same object, isn't it? All right. Now, in the next step, when you try to change A of 1 to 15, so when you try to remove this, and change it 15, but the references are not changed, isn't it?
Yes.
A is also pointing to the same object still, and B is also pointing to the same object, and hence we get the same output. So the correct one is that you get 15 over here. Is this clear now?
Yes. So, how if we want to duplicate A, the list A,
Exactly.
and
Very
then
nice question.
change?
I appreciate your question. So I was expecting the same question.
Mm,
So if we try to assign a list, so this is what? This is assignment, isn't it?
mm,
This is assignment. And if we try to assign one list to the other, in fact, we are not copying it. Okay. So this particular issue is called copy issue. Okay. We're not able to copy using a simple assignment. Okay. Then what should we do? Okay. The answer to this problem is that we should create a new object, isn't it?
yes.
Create a new object. So we need to do, what we need to do is not just copy the reference, we need to do this, isn't it? Okay, and how can we do this is like this. So we should do, so the slicing and indexing, as we discussed in strings, also works for lists. So we need to copy using slicing. And how do we do? We do A of colon is equals to C. Okay. Do you remember we tried to use this just colon in the strings? If you have seen my last video, all right.
Yes.
And what this does is it actually gives you elements. So we have missed the start point and we have also missed the end point. Okay, so this basically, in case of strings, if you take, say hello was your string, and when you try to say s of colon, what is the output?
Hello.
Hello, complete string, isn't it?
Mm.
All right, so same is the case with list. When you try to do this a of colon, what you get is the complete list. Okay, and remember, now this one creates a new object.
Mm.
All right,
Mm.
clear?
Clear.
So this is how your copy problem is
Mm.
resolved, and this is called copy solution. All right,
Mm.
great. So interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's proceed, and this is what we discussed. So if you want to use the slicing, it works in the lists too, and you can use this way. For example, let me just go over these examples. So T is a list, and we're trying to slice 1 to 3. Where is
Mm.
1? 1 is
41.
1 is 41, and 3 is here, but 3 is not included.
Included.
Okay, so we get only these two, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, and here we have missed the start index, and if we miss the start index, it by default starts from 0,
So,
the beginning index. All right, and hence it
mm.
goes from the beginning, that is the 0th index, number 9, to number 3, because here is we have 3. Okay,
Mm.
the last
Mm.
one, not the last one, second last, this is missing the end index. Here we have missed the end index. If you miss the end index, it goes till the end of the list. Goes from number 3 to end of the list. All right.
Mm.
And the last one, as we discussed, this particular thing gives us complete list. Okay, I think this is clear. Hmm?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Uh, this is the generic method which we use for creating an empty list. So remember, this is a method to create empty list.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Okay. Let's try to see if this is actual thing, and we try to do x is equals to list of nothing. All right. And when we try to print x, you see
Mm.
this is square bracket open and close, and this is nothing but, so you can do this in two ways. One is x is equals to using the method list, or you can also do
Mm.
x is equals to this
Mm.
to create an empty list. All right, okay.
Mm.
uh, and here is uh, dir of x, and what does dir of x gives us? We have already seen our
Nothing.
previous scenario that this gives us list of available members and methods. All right,
Mm.
so this is just a few of the examples, or rather the list is huge. If we try to do dir of x here, and x is what? X is the list, and you see here we get a lot of things, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, so we're not going to focus on each and everything because it will take a lot of time. We will
Mm.
rather limit ourselves to the most used methods. Okay, and whatever you see, with double underscores here are called special members or special methods. All right. Now let me just try to see if I have covered. Yeah. So I have got few methods covered over here. Okay. And let's see what these methods are. So the first method we have used is append. Okay. So we can create an empty list and then add elements using the append method. And how did we create an empty list? Is using the list method, correct? At this point, stuff is empty. Now we're trying to add an element to it using append method. Okay. Let me just go to the code that makes more sense, isn't it? Okay. Try to clear this up and create a list stuff, and I will use this rather this time. Okay. Now stuff is nothing but an empty list. If I try to print stuff, I get empty list. That's fine. Now what I'm going to do is let me try to see what append does. So if I say stuff dot append, I get help on it, isn't it? And what this says that l dot append, if you use in this fashion and you give the object as the argument to append, it appends this object to end of the list. Okay. So let's try to append the items. I append the item called book at the first, and when I try to print stuff, I get an element added to the list, isn't it? Alright, so my stuff, which was empty before, now has got one element. Let's try to add a few more elements to it. And let's say I add 99. And when I try to print, I get another element. I can also add, since list is a collection of mixed items also. When I try to add 1, 2, 3, so what am I trying to do is I'm trying to append a list to the existing list, right? When I try to print this, hooray! Okay, I have a list of 3 elements. The first one is a string, second one is a number, the third one is a list. Okay, now how do I access number 2?
Stuff.
I can do in 2 steps. Can you just think of it? So let's say I say append, not append, sorry. So if I say stuff of, so what is the index of the element 1, 2, 3?
2.
2, exactly. So if I say stuff of 2, I get this list, isn't it? All right.
Yes.
Now what I want to do is I want to access number 2 in the list. So I've got 2 ways to do this. The first way is that I assign this to another list, stuff of 2. All right. Now I can say L of, how do I access number 2? L of
1.
1, exactly. So I get 2, isn't it? This is the first way. The second way is that I can use something called nested access. All right. And we can do that like this. Stuff of, first we try to give the index of the inside list, which is 2, and then I give another square bracket to give the index of the number in the inside list, which is 1, isn't it?
Yes.
So remember this step. Alright, this will be useful when
Mm.
you're trying to access a list inside a list.
Mm.
Alright, so append is clear.
Yes. Can we append like two or more objects and in one step?
Together.
Uh,
So,
like
uh, okay, let me
append more
understand.
than.
So you're asking, can we do stuff dot append of 1 comma 2 comma 3,
Yes.
right? But this is not possible.
Yes. Okay.
See what it says, takes exactly
Mm.
one argument. Okay. If you
Argument.
try to do help
Mm.
on this,
Mm.
help on stuff dot append, what does
Mm.
it say? It takes an object as an input, only one parameter.
Okay.
So rather, if you have a requirement like this, probably you would want to create a list and then append to it.
Okay.
Right. So what you
Mm.
would want is that you do stuff dot append and put your all the numbers or items which you want to add together
Mm.
to a list again.
Mm.
All right. Get this?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
if you have any requirement like you want to append multiple items, you would want to
Mm.
loop over. You can write a small for loop for I
Mm.
in range. Say you want to add 10 items or yep. So let's say yeah, range of 10, and then I say list, not list. I need to define the list first, right?
Mm.
Uh, so where should I do that? Because if I try to do l dot append, um, I say list new dot append of I. What is the error? Do you understand? Do you understand the error here?
Yeah. There's we haven't created list new yet.
Yeah, so we don't have the list new. So what should we
Mm.
do then?
Create an empty list new first.
Where should we do that?
Uh, to
So
give a list that
inside
we can
for,
append
inside for, or outside for?
outside for,
And why do you think so?
because if inside it will create an empty list every time.
Exactly. Great. So what do we do? That we create the new list outside, and then we say for I in range of 10, and then list new dot append of I. Should work, isn't it?
Mm.
So what is list new now? You get this?
Mm.
Okay, so the answer to your question is two. There are two answers. First one is
Mm.
when you want to do multiple append, probably you don't want to use either of these two methods. First one is create a list and append it to the list. Okay. Or
Mm.
else, or in fact, create a collection and then append to the list, or uh, add your elements recursively in a loop. All
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, this is the way to check for. So, do you remember what is in and not in over here? So, I've got something called
Mm.
in and not in.
Mm.
So these are what? These are isn't it? These are membership operators.
Yes.
So these check for membership whether the item is in or not in. Okay. And in fact these operator when used with operands, these are what 15 and some are called operands, and in is called operator. So when you use this operator, the expression, the complete expression evaluates to true or false. All right. Okay. So let us quickly see this also. So I've got some equals to 1 comma, say I take 4 5 and some random numbers. Okay, I'm trying to check 9 in sum. Alright, 9 is not in the list, isn't it? I try to check 656 in sum. I get true. So this is good to use this in a if condition also, in fact. If I have 4 in sum, then print it's in here. Oh my god, what just happened? Did I miss something?
If 4 in sum equals true.
For if 4 in sum. Okay. Is this the problem? Oh, that is the problem. Okay. So if I use for, it gives no error. Okay, so do you get what the problem is over here?
I don't get it.
So it is not able to check for a constant in a condition. You get? If I assign this constant to a variable I and then use it the same way. No, in fact, this is not the error. Do you get the error here? It's a quiz for you. So we have this and we have this, okay? Whereas this one works, this one doesn't. What is the problem? Have a deep look and you would probably find the problem.
So you have to assign for to a variable.
Okay, so let me try to do this again. If 4 in sum, this works, isn't it? Magic, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the problem? So where is silly problem? You see, Okay, what is the change do you see in this? Okay, I
Oh,
have this.
it's the print problem.
Yeah, what is the problem in the print?
E is like a keyword, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the the last one we lack the apostrophe.
Exactly. That is the problem. You get it? Now, what happens is that in this case, Python is assuming that the string has ended here.
Mm,
Okay, single quotes
mm,
started and single quote ended over here.
mm,
All right, and hence
mm,
it understands that we have a string only it,
mm,
and rest of the
mm,
thing it does not find any sense, and that's why it says invalid
mm,
syntax.
mm, mm,
You get it?
mm. Yeah.
Very small problem, but very helpful.
Mm,
All right, so this is how we check for membership.
mm,
Let's see if we can check not in. So if for not in sum, we don't get a print. What does that mean?
mm.
So it means that 4 is not in sum. Is it not in sum?
Oh, so the print line will not execute?
Mhm.
Mm,
So is 4 in sum? Let's try to see what sum is. So 4
uh,
is it is in sum, isn't it?
um,
So what
yes.
does, as we said, that this particular expression is going to evaluate to either true or false.
Mm,
Only
mm,
when this expression evaluates to true, we're going to get a print, isn't it?
mm,
Yeah, so does this evaluate to true?
false.
False, isn't it? Because 4
Mm,
is in sum, it is not in, right?
mm,
This evaluates to
mm,
false and hence we do not get a print. Okay, so the moral of the story is that these are very handy things to check for the containment of an element.
mm,
All right,
mm.
any doubts so far?
No.
No, great. All right, let's proceed. And what is a list? List is a collection, isn't it?
Yes.
But what sort of collection? It is an ordered sequence or a collection.
Mm,
Okay, list can
mm,
hold many items and keeps those items in the order until we do something to change the
mm,
order. All right, it's a very
mm,
good point to remember that list is an ordered sequence. The order
mm,
does not change until we try to change it. Okay, a
mm,
list can be sorted. What do you mean by sorted? That we can change the order of the list. Okay,
mm,
we have got two methods to do this. The first one is sort method. Okay, and let's try to see if, where do I have this? Okay, I have it here. Let me try to show you. Okay, and what do you have in sum? Let's take the example of sum. What is sum? Sum is a list of
mm.
numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 56. 656. All right, I want to make it in an order. Is it ordered?
No. Yes.
Yes, in fact, it is ordered. So let's try to make an unordered list. So how do I do that? Let me try to put uh, 54. Does this work? Let's see, what is this? Okay, I have changed the order to an extent. Okay, let me try to change it more. Let me make sum of 0 to 1000. Now it seems unordered, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, now let's try to change the order. And how to do that? We have a method called sort. All right, and let's try to use that. So we say sum dot sort. All right, now when we try to print sum, it is ordered, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, now how do we sort in reverse order? This is in ascending order. All right, and now what if we want to sort this list in descending order or the decreasing order?
Is there another method?
Yep,
Another?
so there are arguments to this sort method which can make this possible. All right.
Mm, mm,
Also, if I ask you to write a program for doing this, can you do that?
can use a for loop.
Okay, so what my question is that given a list of
Mm,
numbers,
mm,
okay, you need to
mm,
sort that number. So you can use the first level sorting you can do. All right. The first
mm,
level sorting you can do using the sort method. So assume you
mm,
have got a list of sorted numbers in the increasing or the ascending order. All
mm,
right. I need
mm,
to create descending order sorted list.
mm,
Simple question, right? So the first level solution is done by the sort method. All right.
mm.
Can you try that?
Uh,
Okay, maybe you can note down and try and solve in the next and show me in the next class.
okay. Okay.
Okay,
Mm,
so make a note of this problem and you can show me the solution in the next class. All right,
okay.
and I will demonstrate the built-in method available to do this.
Mm,
Okay, so uh, all right, the point to be noted here is that sort method is called in-place sorting. Okay,
mm,
so the sort method over here is called in-place sorting. Why is it called in-place sorting? Because it changes the original list, isn't it?
yes.
We try to sort sum, and when we are trying to print sum now, it's changed, isn't it? It did not return as a new list, rather it has changed the original one.
Mm,
That is why it is called in-place sorting. We got another method which is a generic method. So do you understand the difference between when I say a generic method and this method?
generate doesn't change the original list.
Okay, that is one point. But when I say generic method,
Mm,
it actually means that it is not specific to any data type. All right, that means
okay.
you have already seen the len function, isn't it?
Mm,
And this
yes.
works for strings, this
Mm,
works for list, isn't it? And
mm,
that is why I call it as a generic method. Okay. When I say specific method, when I talk about specific, okay, so specific method is specific only to that data type. Okay, like sort. Sort is a method available only in list object. All right. So see the usage of it. We're trying to use it using friends dot notation. Remember the dot notation. Friends dot sort. And hence we are telling that sort is a method available in the list object.
Can we sort a list that has not just one type of objects, but has like number and string and list?
Yes, you can do that, and we'll see how to do that also. Okay. Is this clear that when I call a generic method and when I call a specific method, okay? So sort is what? Sort is a specific method. Okay. And let's see an example to your question, and let me try to introduce some more items. And I do sum.append. Hello. Okay, all right. Let me try to introduce some more things like 5.6. Okay, now I have a list of mixed item. Right? This is what you're asking, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, when I try to sort this, look what happens. You see what has happened? It has
Yeah, the
sorted.
number goes first. Yes.
So basically numbers are given first priority and then strings and so on, right? But
Okay.
in your real time scenario, you would probably not do this, correct? Sorting would be required for similar kind of items in most of the cases, where you have to sort, say, just text or just numbers, isn't it? So yes, it
Yes.
supports this, but it is of remembering things. Hey, number comes first and then string comes second. Probably you would not want to use this in your real project.
Got it.
All right. Um, okay, so now your task is to give me the list in reverse order. All right. Okay. Meanwhile, so that's your homework, and let me try to introduce a generic method that is called sorted. Okay, I get it. Okay. Sorted is a method which takes the collection object as the input, all right, which you want to sort. So since this was already sorted, so let me try to, okay, before this, how do I remove an item from the list?
Remove method.
So we have updated, right? We have added the item using append. We have also updated the item using indexing. I want to delete an item, and I have to use the del operator. What is del? Del is an operator
Delete.
to delete an item. Okay. How do I do that? L of, say, 5. Oh, oh. Okay. What is the error over here?
List first assignment index of the range. So L has less than 6 items in the list.
Okay, so we were referring to L. We wanted to refer sum, but we were referring L. Okay, there was a problem. So let us try to do del of sum of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I want to remove the sixth one. Alright, it does. It works. Hello is gone, isn't it? Now I want to change sum of 0 to 2000 and sum of 3 to 5000. Alright. Okay, I have a mixed list now. It is not sorted. Alright. And I am demonstrating a generic method which is called sorted. Sorted of sum, and hooray, it sorted it, correct? So, but in fact, what happened now is, if you try to print sum, you see, sum is not changed. So, the difference between the specific method sort and the generic method sorted is that sort does in place sorting, that is, it changes the original list. Alright? Whereas the sorted method returns a new list, new sorted list. Alright? Okay, great. I have to discuss a few more things in this, so, but let me proceed with the next further slides first. Okay. Okay, built-in functions also can be used, which is len, max, min, sum. So I'm not going to discuss about this. This is very clear and mathematical functions. All right. To get the length of the list, to get the maximum number in the list, to get the minimum number, to find the sum of the items in the list. All right. Okay. Here we have a program, and what it does, it finds the average of numbers in the list. All right. So the first program, which you can see on the top, what it does, it takes input from the user, a number, and then and keeps on adding it keeps on calculating the total, and keeps on getting the count also. So we have used two variables. The first variable is total, all right, and the second variable is count. Okay, so why we are discussing about this is because we are saying that we don't need two variables, rather we can have a list, we can create a list, and whatever number the user has input, let's try to append it to the list. Alright, at the end, using the built-in functions called sum and len, we can find the average. Alright?
Okay, but should the average be an integer in this expression?
Average can be a float, right?
Yes,
So,
but
and that is why we have converted every number to float in this step.
oh, I didn't see the float step.
Okay, you get it?
Okay, yes.
We are already we are appending the float numbers in this list. Alright?
Okay.
And hence you get the
Yes.
float as the average. Alright, so okay, we have discussed this. Um, okay, we have another function called split. Okay, probably I would say that split is a very useful function in lists. Okay, what it does is it splits the string, given string. So what it takes, it actually works on a string. What is ABC? ABC is a string of these three words, and it splits these three words into a list of words. All right. Now the twist over here is that this split can also work on different delimiters. So what is this space called? It is actually called a delimiter. We can also separate out the words using another delimiter. So let me give you an example of this. And so let me create a string with, so let's say I have width 3 words. All right. So you see, now I want to split this complete string using colon. Wherever I find colon, it should split that as a word. Right. What do? I say stuff is equals to abc dot split of colon. And when I try to print stuff, you see this? So you can give a delimiter as an input to the split function. If you don't give a delimiter, it by default considers the white space as the delimiter. Alright? It's a very useful function to split a long string based on a delimiter. Okay? Fine. So let's see what we have. Okay, okay, here is the example we were talking about. I think we have already seen this. Yeah. We have already seen using a delimiter other than space. All right. And this is a kind of example we saw in the last session with strings. We try to figure out the incoming mails and try to uh, filter out the domain name. Okay. So we're trying to do the same thing over here, but using the split function. So whatever log we find starting from, we're first trying to filter that out in the list. Okay. Because we saw that when we try to loop over in the file handle, when you try to loop over in the file handle, it basically is a what? Is a list of lines, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's a list, and when you try to do operation on the list, is what you're trying to do. You're picking up each line, and each line is a string. So we're trying to see if the line begins with from, and we're trying to split that line based on space. So we'll get all these spaces removed and this as the final list. This list as the list of words separated by spaces. Okay, and then what we are trying to do is split has given us this, and we know that our email address is going to be at index number 2. Okay, in fact it is not at index number 2 here. Index number 2 is Saturday. Okay, yeah, I'm wrong. So our focus on in this example is finding out the day. So the day is at index number 2 and we get Saturday. All right. So here is, okay, what is double split? So first we're trying to figure out what we are trying to do. Line is what? Line is this string. We're trying to split this string And what do we get in words? Words is the list of words, isn't it? Is
Yes.
what we get as the words, and we are saying words of one. Words of one is what? This email address,
Mm,
right?
mm,
So words is this email address, and then we say, okay, email dot split. We already split it using white space and
mm,
assigned the email address, words of one email address. Now we're trying to split the email address also based on
mm,
the at the rate, and we get this list, and we say that whatever is the second word is my domain name.
mm.
Get this?
Yes.
So it is very useful to use what do you say, lists. Okay,
Mm,
let us summarize this. Okay, before summarizing, let me just show you what I wanted to
mm,
about the descending order, sorting.
mm, mm,
Sorting in descending order. Okay. So we use the method, two methods. Let's see what we have in stuff. Okay. Okay. And what if we try to, let's try to create, okay, we have some.
mm,
Okay. So sum is not sorted right now. Okay.
mm, mm,
What we're trying to do is, I want to sort this descending order. We already know that how do we sort in ascending order. That is
mm.
just like this, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, when you reach here, see, uh, you can see the idle has given us a hint of the usage of the sort function, and it says that it can take three parameters: CMP,
Mm,
key, and reverse. All right,
mm,
we're trying to use this particular parameter called reverse to do the magic. We're trying to say reverse is true.
oh,
You get it?
yes.
If we say reverse is true, it actually does the magic. All right,
Mm,
and we get the
mm,
list in descending order. All right,
mm,
okay, so similar is the case. Let me try to do sum dot sort again, because I want to do in ascending again. uh,
mm,
so see, this is how I got in ascending order again. I want to show the
mm,
same thing with sorted method. If you use the generic method called sorted, now how do I do that? Let me see
mm,
help on sorted. Do you get this? Okay, so help tells us that
mm,
how do we use that. So we say sorted of sum, and then the same reverse is equals to true. All right,
mm,
it
mm,
works,
mm, mm.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, but I want you to write this function for me. Okay,
Okay.
I want you to write a function which takes a list as an input, okay,
Mm,
and
mm,
gives me the descending order sorting.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
great. Okay, I have few more methods to discuss, which are not there in the slides.
mm,
So the first one is pop. Okay, so I have got my list
mm,
as sum,
mm,
and I want to delete an element from this list.
mm.
How do I do that? We just did some time back.
DEL.
Del
Mm,
of sum and then some index, isn't it?
mm,
So like this. Okay, so this deletes the element at index number 2. All right. What if we want to delete the entire list?
Remove.
So we will not give the index, and we'll just give the list name.
Oh.
All right. Now if you try to print sum, you see what this error is?
It's not defined.
It's not defined because it is gone. All right. Okay, so let me try to get one more list. Okay, I'm missing a point here, which is this, and I try to print this. Okay, all right. I've got a list back with new numbers. Okay, I want to delete. So do you know about stacks?
Stacks. I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm. So what happens? So you might have played some games which involve a ring and a bar with rings around it. All right, in the childhood. So this basically is stack, or you might have put the plates in your kitchen in some order, in one above the other, basically.
Yeah.
Right. This particular arrangement is called stack. All right. And what happens in a stack is the so this is my the lowest one. So whatever goes at the last always comes out first. You get this?
Yes.
So our task is that to put the elements in the stack and to pull out the elements from the stack. Okay? And stack is a data structure which is used a lot of times in your programming or algorithms. All right. So how it is implemented is you have an operation called push and another one called pop. Okay, that you might find in your like other languages like C, C++, or Java, right? So it is already implemented. You can use two methods. So you're pushing. When I say push, that is putting the element into the stack. That push, so I say my push is equivalent to append. All right, and my pop is equivalent to pop. We have a method called pop, and this is what I'm going to showcase. All right. Now 1, 2, 3, 4 is my stack, and which is the topmost element in this stack?
What element?
What is the topmost? What is the last element which went into this stack?
4.
4, right? So I'm considering this list as my stack, and I'm saying that 4 is the last element which was inserted using append. And so by definition of the stack, which is the first one to come out of the list?
4.
4, right? 4 is the ideal thing which should come when I say give me an item out of the stack. All right. So there is a method which is called pop. So when I say sum dot pop, okay, you see what is the element we have got?
4.
4. When I do it again, when I do sum dot pop, you see what I get?
3. Oh, okay.
Sum dot pop. What if I do again?
Arrow.
Exactly. There is no element to pop. The stack is empty. You get? So this is a very good question which people can ask, that how can you implement a stack using Python, right? So you can answer saying that my append and pop functions can work together to perform the operations on the stack, which are push and pop. All right. Any problem so far?
No.
No, right? Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
so pop, after pop, the item is removed from the list. It's not there anymore.
Yes, exactly. So if I try to print sum,
Okay.
sum is empty. You see? So pop, what pop does is it modifies the original list. That is, it deletes the item from the list as well as it returns the item also.
Okay.
You get this?
Yes.
So what I mean to say, if I say, so my push operation, let's do a push operation. So if I say sum dot append 1, okay, I have pushed the item number 1 to the stack. I push again another item, okay, I have got two items pushed to the stack. All right. Now what I'm saying is I can do item is equals to sum dot pop. So what happened actually is that the item is deleted from the list as well as it is stored in item. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is about pop and I think this is pretty much to discuss on lists. All right. Okay, so let's recap what all we discussed today. So we discussed about a generic idea of a collection. We discussed about definite looping on the lists, the indexing and the lookup that is using in the indexing, the list mutability. We try to change the items in the list using the indexes. We also did some of the basic built-in functions, which are len, min, max, sum on the lists. Slicing lists, we also saw how can we slice lists. This was the same operation as we used in strings. We saw some of the methods called like append, remove, split, pop. All right. We also try to delete the item from the list. Uh, we try to sort the lists using the generic method sorted and the in place or the built-in method of list object, which is sort. And so basically the summary is that if you want to sort uh, changing the original list, you should use sort method. Otherwise, if you want new list, new sorted list, you would probably want to use sorted. And then the second last one is the split method, which we used. Okay, and we also saw something called double split. All right, where we split it we figure out the domain name from an email address. All right. Okay. Any questions?
Can I split the list in one step? Like I want to split both where it has white space and column or add. Can we do that?
Okay. So you're saying that what if I have a list? What if you have a string, correct? With white space and a colon or a semicolon.
Okay.
This is what you're talking about, right?
Yes.
So how do I split this?
Can you split this in one expression?
So this is what your question is, correct? You want to split these words.
Yes.
Whereas you have two delimiters. So you would want to use double split here.
Okay.
Correct? You get this?
Yes, the double split is like I split by white space first.
So
Then I
you say, for
split.
example, you want to figure out hello and world. So first you have to split using the colon. All right? This gives you what?
Hello World and Python.
Hello world and Python, isn't it? Okay. And then what do you do? You
Hello
take
World
out
split.
this particular string and split based on white space. Correct?
Yes.
Does this solve your purpose?
I just want to know, like, if I have a text, a very long text, there might be a lot of
Lot of delimiters.
yeah, a lot of delimiters that I want to split a word wherever there is white space or comma or column or
Okay. So
question mark.
I get it. I get your point. So let me answer this in two ways. The first one would be that in your real-time scenarios, you would really not find such a case where you want to split based on multiple delimiters, all right? Because your problem would be specific to a generic pattern, right? You will have a pattern. Say, for example, if I talk about this log, right? So if any process is giving you some text, this is only one line out of the log where you will have the email from different email addresses, isn't it? At
Yeah.
different times, right? So your pattern would be very defined, well defined, right? So
But if there is a like a book and I want to do the word count,
word
then
count,
it
right?
yeah, then the
So
word might be split by any kind of marks.
correct. So in that case, you would have to use double split. There is no other go. Okay.
Okay.
And also, I will give you another solution. This next solution, I can say you can use the regular expression. Okay. What regular expression does is, but still, my take on this would be that if you don't have a well-defined pattern, right? It is difficult to figure out the solution in that case because you don't know where and what delimiter can come, correct? Or probably you might end up making a list of all sorts of delimiters that can occur, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a good idea, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
So in your real-time scenario, if you think on it, your
mm,
possible solutions could be a double split
mm-hmm,
or
mm.
using a regular expression.
Okay.
We will discuss about regular expression. I have got a slide on regular expression itself.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. So, any further questions?
Um, yes, I saw the our website. The curriculum says we are going to have some lectures on machine learning with Python, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Are we going to cover that in the
Okay,
future?
let me clear this. All right.
Uh,
So
mm,
the course says that we're going to cover those. So we're
mm,
going to cover only the basics of it. That is the theoretical
mm.
aspects of how Python is used with machine learning.
Okay.
I'm going to tell that, but not in
Mm,
depth,
okay.
because that itself is a very huge topic. Okay.
Mm,
So
mm,
we're going to see the how actually Python could be used for machine learning. Yes, we are going to
okay.
discuss about that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Any more questions?
Mm. No, that's all.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining in today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Have a nice day.
Have a good night.
Yep.